Well, I think it should be tabled. My thought is though, what happens when the coaches aren't there? What happens when they're having these conversations further down the road? I heard you guys talk about it a little bit earlier, and this is if this is truly a player safety thing. I listened to Nick Sirianni say we don't coach this play from the offensive line and the defensive line in any way different than we coach a normal quarterback sneak. And then also Shannon mentioning something that a lot of people don't remember is that you did used to push on field goal block, and that was something that was outlawed. So there's so many pieces to this. I think my larger problem is it's such a successful play that attempting to outlaw it feels like a way to find an out of defending it. And I think to me that part was soft. To me that part was people running from coaching, as Mike Tomlin would say. So I'm glad that it was tabled for now, but I do believe this will be a topic of discussion again. And if they can continue to push that it is a player health and safety risk, I believe at some point the tush push will be outlawed by the NFL.
I just think they should take a stance. Pick a side. Whatever you decide, either outlaw or let it, because I'm kind of tired of talking about it. We know there's only a handful of teams that have success. You talk about Josh Allen, who's 6'6", 250 pounds. Mm-hmm. They're successful at it. And the Philadelphia Eagles with a 6'6", 328-pound offensive line with a quarterback that can squat 600 pounds. His leg drive. But, normally there was a time that aiding the runner, which means you push the runner to gain extra yards, that were outlawed. Now you can aid the runner, you just can't pull him. It's just, for me, I just want them to make a decision one way or another. It does seem like a cop-out because only two teams seemingly have success doing it. The Eagles are at like 86% on third and fourth downs when they use this play. Nobody in the history of the game. Do you know how many games you would actually win if you could beat 86% on all of your third and fourth downs, regardless of the
you win the Super Bowl.
RCs? Every single year, because you're never coming off the field. You're not coming off the field. And so for me, Stephen A., I agree. I think it's because they can't figure out a way to defend it. Because I remember the run and shoot and the no hurry. You remember Nick Saban used to say the hurry up offense. They need to do something with the hurry up offense. Well, they adopted, they found ways, they got innovative. They started doing the hurry up offense as well. Until you find a way to defend it, people are going to say, well, you know what? We need to outlaw it because we can't stop it through our creative coaching style. So I don't believe it. I haven't seen the data, but they're going to have to show me, Stephen, where it says when we get in this formation and run it, players on the defensive side get injured.
It really is. I saw this clip. Oh, I didn't see this clip. This is the first time I'm seeing this clip, but I saw that that this clip was posted, and the way how it was, like titled or whatever was, Shannon Sharpe is sick of talking about the tush push or something. And I remember, I saw it this morning, and again, I didn't watch it until right now, so I didn't know what was actually going to be about the clip. And my initial thought was, you guys are the ones that are making this a topic. I remember in the Super Bowl, the weeks of leading up to the Super Bowl, there was obviously so much talk, endless talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, how they're the dynasty. This is the greatest dynasty in the history of all of sports. The three-peat is unbelievable. Patrick Mahomes is Michael Jordan. He is inevitable, unstoppable. A three-peat will make him the GOAT. No question about it. Who cares how many rings Tom Brady has? Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. And what were the conversations about the Philadelphia Eagles? Jalen Hurts is not good enough. The Philadelphia Eagles are not good enough. And should they ban the tush push? There were actual takes leading up to the Super Bowl talking about banning the tush push. Multiple takes on multiple shows, on multiple networks. That's what we were talking about. That's what they were talking about. Should they ban the tush push? I couldn't believe it. I had reached a breaking point at that point. I was like, I can't believe it. We're going into the Super Bowl. I see one clip where it's just all about Patrick Mahomes being the GOAT and the Kansas City Chiefs three-peating. And then essentially one of the final clips leading into this Super Bowl about the Philadelphia Eagles, you talk about banning the tush push, which is just absurd. It's media and fan just nonsense in terms of what you're trying to build, the narrative going into this Super Bowl. It's just malpractice to do that. It makes no sense. And now they win the Super Bowl, and this is the aftermath that we get. Something that no fans were talking about. And it's so funny that the second team that does the most amount of tush pushes are the Buffalo Bills. And Sean McDermott is so strong on this being an issue of safety. And that's what matters most. Well, if it matters so much, then why do you have your own team do it? If you care about player safety so much, and that is the biggest priority that you have, then why do you have your own team do it? You look like a literal clown. You look like an absolute hypocrite and a fool. It's really important that we prioritize player safety. It should be banned. Then why did you have your own team do it? Do you understand how ridiculous that is? It's insane. It's literally insane. It's unbelievable. It's just the delusion and the stupidity is kind of insane. And then even this take right here where they're like, oh, they're 80-some%. Because if they were like that on all of 3rd and 4th downs, they'd be unstoppable. They'd win the Super Bowl. Yeah. I think that's a fair assessment. That if you can consistently convert 3rd and 5, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 4, 4th and 4, yeah, you're probably going to win a lot of football games. What does that have to do with anything? If they were converting, if the Tush Push was them converting like 3rd and 5s or something, then yeah, maybe we could have a different discussion. And I'm on the record saying that if all of these teams were able to somehow be able to start to do the Tush Push, I would say, you know what? Banning it might be the right play. Because I don't know what football, because it would fundamentally change football across the board now, all teams. But I don't know. That's my initial thought right now, but I'd have to think about it, and I'd have to like actually watch a game and be like, is this good? Does this improve the quality of play? But the answer is, one team does it the best. The other teams fail to do it. This comes out about like once or twice a game, if that. People are trying to act like they do the Tush Push like 10 times a game. Every single game. And it's just not true. It's just so far from being true here. I mean, and trying to use player safety. I made a video the other day and and because they were talking about, Chris Jones got injured. I'm supposed to feel bad for the guy who lined up like this? And he's like, ugh, my neck. Don't line up sideways. My neck. Tell me how that makes sense. How did you think that was a good idea? Where in your right mind did you think that was going to lead to something productive? That is a you problem, not a Tush Push problem. They have the audacity to try to act like that's a thing. Did 51 get hurt? 56 get hurt? 69 get hurt? 32 get hurt? 23 get hurt? Did 68 get hurt on the Eagles team? 51, 77? No. But the one guy who actually lined up in a non-football way, he got hurt. Go figure. The article talks about how 16 teams, which earned the support of 16 NFL teams, the bylaws require a minimum of 24 votes to approve a change. And then they're most likely going to re-vote May 20th to 21. This whole thing is such a farce. It really is. And to hide behind player safety, dude, that is one of the most comically hilarious things ever. I mean, it really is when you think about it. What these owners, coaches, etc. ask of their players, and you're talking about player safety. Like, it's just, come on, dude. Really? I'm not even going to talk, because I already talked about it before, about the ugliness of it, etc. I'm not going through that one again. I'm not touching that. At least not today. But the whole, when Shannon said, I'm sick of discussing it, it's like the media is the one that made this a thing. That tried to elevate this bigger than it really was. Nobody really talks about the tush push. Nobody. If you're ever in the comment section, which I am all day, every day, when the Eagles were winning and all this, nobody was bringing up the tush push. Nobody. When you got in the biggest heated conversations with the fans that absolutely hate Philadelphia, who hate the Eagles, who hate the fans, who are like, you threw snowballs at Santa Claus. It's like, okay, sure, whatever you say. They didn't even bring up the tush push. They didn't even bring up the tush push. And yet they're acting like it's the biggest deal. That this needs to be rectified somehow. And then the examples that people throw up are just, again, absurd. Like Chris Jones' injury. Bad TV against the Commanders. Well, they have such a high conversion rate. And if they can convert that on all their downs, they'd be unstoppable. Yeah, you're right. They would be. Yeah, that's true. If you score more touchdowns, if you score more points than the other team, you win the game. That's a hot take. Who do you think is going to win this game on Sunday? Well, Joe, I think the team that scores more points is going to win. I think typically when you score more points than the other team, you come away with the W. Oh yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. That was some real hard-hitting analysis. It's just, I don't even know. At a minimum, because this play has been so innovative and a big part of this team, like, if you're going to ban it, you should be like, in 2 years, this will be banned or something of some sort. You put some sort of like timeline. But if they just ban it and say, oh yeah, you can't do this next season, again, like that just would be such a disgrace. And to keep using examples of the special teams and field goal, it's different. There's different rules in special teams than throughout the course of a game. Things are different during special teams. We know this. It's different just between a punt and a field goal. We know this. The rules change depending on, the situation. Offense, defense, special teams, field goal, punt, kickoffs. Someone brought up a great point. We talk about, what's like ugly part of the game. Kicking the ball in the back of the end zone. That's pretty boring. What's a really dangerous play? I don't know. Pretty much any play that involves the running back, who's like the only position on the field these days that doesn't have any protection around them in terms of rules. We protect receivers, we protect quarterbacks, we protect linemen even. But running backs, it's open season on them, man. You can hit a running back as hard as you want. That's literally why the defensive coordinator for the Commanders was pretty much like, If you're going to run as a quarterback, we are going to hit you. That's what he was saying about Jalen Hurts. He didn't get to hit him. Eagles scored 55 points with him. Over 7 for 7 in the red zone. So, didn't work out too well. But, yeah. Again, you want to talk about ugly? I'm not going to go on the whole rant, but, like, there's a lot of ugly in the NFL. I mean, people love those fair catch punts. They love it. Oh, they love watching players take a knee in the end zone. I can't wait. On kickoffs, I'm like, oh my God, I got to watch because there's a 0.00004% chance that someone's going to run it back for a touchdown. I can't move. Can't move from the couch. Man. I'm yet to hear like a real practical take on this whole thing. I'd love to hear it. I really would. I would really love to hear it. Like I said, the most open I am to banning it is if like injuries were a real concern, because I don't want players to get injured, but they've been doing it long enough and we haven't seen anything. So that's the problem. Someone will get hurt one day and they're going to be like, see, this is dangerous. And it's like, that's insane. But so far, nothing. And again, in terms of optics, I agree. If all these teams were doing it, and every time there was a team that was 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and everyone just did it and it became too automatic, I could see the argument that that's like not entertaining. If every team's able to do it at such a high volume, you'd be like, yeah, this feels too automatic. But since it's just the Eagles and it's the ecosystem and the team that they created to be able to do this, they deserve to kind of reap the benefits of it. They just do. They deserve that. It's like drafting a running back who's 6'7", 280 pounds. Like, yeah, it feels kind of automatic that this running back can just keep getting 3, 4, 5, 6 yards. Doesn't mean you're going to outlaw running backs who are that big and strong. But if every single NFL team had a running back that big and strong, and every time you handed the ball off, it was 4, 5, 6 yards, you'd be like, football's kind of boring. It doesn't really feel that fun. And that was kind of the problem with basketball rules that they needed to change. 3 seconds in the lane, things like that, goaltending. Because you're kind of like, this is kind of feels wrong. So we can have a deeper conversation about some of this stuff, but we have to have like an actual accurate conversation about this. And you actually, if you're going to start to use random examples to try to paint a clear picture, like, if they can convert every 3rd down, they'd win the super, they'd win it all. Like, use more realistic examples of like, what would this look like if all the teams had this? Would this change how the football, the NFL product, is perceived? The answer from my viewpoint would be yes. And in a positive or negative, it's debatable because you would have more teams going for it on 3rd and 4th down. You would have more offense. The defense would potentially be more tired because now they would be on the field for a little bit long. Like, you'd have to think about it. Would this lead to actually more entertaining games, or would it feel too automatic and you're like, 3rd down and 4th downs used to be a lot more exciting because you really weren't sure, can they convert? Going on 4th down used to feel more like a risk. And so there was more anxiety, more excitement, that maybe now that's being taken away. And you could say, yeah, okay, that's an argument. Maybe we should ban this. It's not, from an entertainment perspective, it's not as fun. But when you see all other teams fail and one team be able to do it, that feels targeting. That feels targeting. If all these other teams could do it, and they're just like, well, we're just not going to do it because it's too dangerous. That would actually be what a team should do. If a team really wanted it banned, they should say, we did this, we practiced this, and we even did it in a game and we're successful at it. Look at this game in week 3. We did it 3 times and got it all 3 times. But you know what? We did deep analysis on this, and we know how dangerous this is. And this is a play that we do at an incredibly high level. We do it just as good as the Eagles, but you know what? I do not want my players to be to be put in danger. That is not what we believe in as a Green Bay Packer. As a franchise, we believe in player safety overall. Like, that would actually be a great little play to try to get it banned. To be like, look, we can do it, but it's the fact that you can't do it And you're like, well, this is not fair. This is not fair. Man, crazy. We'll see what happens in May. I can't wait to talk about this more. I'm sure we're going to get some really interesting insights. I also find it interesting that they didn't have enough votes. They only had 16 votes for support, but then they table it. Why didn't they just get the 16 votes? Not enough votes. Open and shut case. Boom, done. Move on to the next one. Weird. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Tush Push? This never-ending story. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.